G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of Wasteland Survival. So if you guys remember in the last episode we were halfway through building the elevator here, but I kind of made a mistake and it seems like I need to sink the floor down by one more block. So basically my piston needs to attach where that bottom conveyor is there. And also I seem to have run out of jetpack fuel, so now I basically need to figure out a way to get back up there. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this. I think the simplest way would be just to build some blocks like this. So what we'll do is we'll build another block here. Forgive me because this will take me a little while to get used to. Can I get up this way like this? Oh yeah, cool, so I can. Now the thing is I need to build a block there and then maybe build another one of these blocks here and then maybe another block like that. And let's go to local grid alignment and then we can continue this ramp up. I thought I would include this part because, you know, I could just kind of kill my character off and yeah, just kind of just go from there. But I think it would be interesting to see me work my way back up here so that I can get my jetpack fuel. Oh no. Alright, so it looks like I've run out of steel plates. Let's let's grind down some of these blocks because I don't really need these blocks anymore anyway, so I might as well grind some of these down. And then hopefully from there, that should give me enough blocks to actually get up here. Alright, let's see how we go with this. Let's build another block there. Let's grab the local grid alignment. Maybe I can build another block like this. And then we can go back up the other way. Ah, yes, there we go. We're almost there.
Energy
Just need one more block. I'll grind this away because that's part of the elevator. Let's grab this block. No, let's grind that away. Right, let's grab this block again. Let's see if we can jump up there. Haha, there we go. Fantastic. Oh. So, that is what it is like to play without a jetpack. Interesting. So maybe in the next series that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Alright, so I'll go and grab myself a little bit more fuel. And then what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to grind all of this down and I'm going to readjust this floor and I'm going to sink it down one block lower. And then we'll go ahead and we'll build all of this stuff all over again. So I'll see you guys once we've done the floor. Alright, so I am back and I have lowered the floor down by one level. Now, I thought I would kind of demonstrate this because I mentioned it in the last episode, but I never kind of really touched on this subject. Now, you can see that I've got, I believe it is 8 pistons at the moment. So we've got 2, 4, 6, and then our 8 pistons. Now, what I'm trying to do here is, you can see that underneath each piston I have like a loop. And what I'm trying to do here is add in another set of these conveyor pipes that are curved. But you can see that I can't add them because the conveyor junction itself was in the way. So, what I need to do here is weld up this piston here. We'll just weld up the piston head for good measure, although we don't really need to, so since I don't have the materials for that, I just won't bother. Now what I'll do is I'll set the minimum distance for this to like 3.4 meters and we'll just kind of reverse this up. Maybe I'll set the minimum distance to 2 meters and then we will let it sit up there. And then what I can do is I can go ahead and I can place my curved conveyor pipe there. And then I can place the other curved conveyor pipe, I should say, there. And then, after that, I should then be able to place the rest of my pistons down. So we'll place one piston here. I need steel plates to build that. which is understandable because I didn't really withdraw that many materials for these things. So let's grab 2 of those. Looks like I'm short on motors, although I'm sure that's just the build planner being funny with me, rather than the fact that I've actually run out of motors. Alright, cool. So what I will do from here is I will lower this piston back down. So we will reverse this piston once more. Hang on, we'll reverse it again. I'll set the minimum distance to 0 meters because I don't want to really mess with the minimum distance of that piston there. I kind of want to do it with the center piston. And you can see that it clears this conveyor junction just fine, but it kind of creates enough interference where it doesn't let us build it in the first place. So what I'll do is I will weld up this piston here. And let's set the minimum distance for this piston to, I don't know, let's say 2.5 meters just to be safe. Let's reverse that. Wait till it gets to 2.5 meters, and then we will reverse it once more. Fantastic. And then from there, do I have the materials for that? Yes, I do. Then from there, we will add our air vent. And I'll probably add it like that. Seems like as good a place as any. Then from here we can add in our parts that go like this. So we'll go like that. Not like that. Oh, I'll fix that up in a second. Right, so now that they are welded up, what I can do from here is start placing in my platform. So we will do that just quickly. And I will extend this platform right out to the wall, and it seems like it is going to fit, which is exactly what I want. And now what I plan to do is place so we'll just place some blocks along here so we can see where the extents of this elevator shaft are actually going to be. So you can see that the internal dimensions of this elevator shaft are going to be 7 by 7, whereas the one that I had made in creative mode, the external dimensions of this were 7 by 7. So, you know, we've got 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and then obviously our last block there. So, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to change up these blocks just for some regular armor blocks, because they don't really fit with the theme that well. And yeah, you can kind of see that the platform this time around is going to be much bigger than what it was before. So if you guys remember, the platform was like 3 by 4 or 3 by 5 or something like that. So it wasn't really that big before. So this is going to give us a little bit of a bigger elevator and a little bit more internal space to put things like button panels and other bits and pieces like that. So I think this is probably going to be ideal. Now the thing is, how many blocks further up do I need to go? And you can see that the elevator is kind of shaking around a bit. So what I need to do is set the shear inertia tensor for all these pistons to on. But I think we need to go up by about another 0.5 meters. So let's push this out to 3 meters minimum distance and see where we're at after that. So we'll set the minimum distance to 3.0 and we'll reverse it and then reverse it again. And yeah, you can kind of see that this thing is shaking around quite a bit. Alright, let's try maybe 3.15 or 3.1. So let's try this again. So we'll go 3.1. In fact, you know what? I might set this to 3.5, reverse it, and then we will set it to constantly be in reverse. And then we'll see. Oh, actually, that's sitting pretty perfectly. Let's weld this block up. Yeah, actually that doesn't sit too bad. That's oh, I forgot that hole was there. That's pretty much, yeah, almost like exactly perfect. I think I could dial this in just a little bit more though. So maybe what we'll do is we'll change this to maybe 3.45. Reverse that, and let's see where we're at now. Yeah. Maybe I could go 3.4. Let's try 3.4 and see where we're at. I know it's close enough, but to me, close enough is not good enough. So let's set it to 3.4. Right, let's see how we're looking now. Now I think we're in business. Now it's a little bit low, but I think that's probably close enough. I'm not going to mess around with that too much more. So, alright, now what I'll do is I will set all of these pistons here with the shear inertia tensor on. And what I need to do as well is actually rename all of this. So I'll turn shear inertia tensor on that one. Then I'll do it for this one. And then we'll find all of our incomplete pistons. And we will select shear inertia tensor on for all of these. And you can see that it's still kind of twitching a little bit. But it is a lot more stable than what it was before. So... Alright, so now we have the basis for our platform. So now what I need to do is weld all of this stuff up down the bottom. So all of these pistons. I need to run a conveyor through the floor and up this wall and then up to this conveyor that is basically sitting, I think it's behind this block here. So if I grind this block away, there should be a conveyor underneath that. Or at least, yeah, I think there will be, yeah, so there's a conveyor here. So I think what I'll do is I'll grind this block out. I'll drill to this conveyor, which should be just behind here. Looks like I've damaged it. And then directly underneath that, I'll run the tube down the wall and then underneath the floor and then to this conveyor here. And then that will basically feed into this air vent here, and it will mean that I can have a pressurized elevator, even though it's not totally necessary, but still I think it would be a cool feature to have. So alright guys, well I'll see you in a second once I've welded the majority of this stuff up. Okay, well everything is now welded up, so all the pistons, they're all ready to go. I went ahead and I welded up the platform, even though I haven't really... Well, I guess what we can do now is we can kind of figure out the design that I want to go with for this platform. One of the reasons why I wanted to make this bigger is because I felt like I didn't really want to use too many of these short window blocks here, because I've never really been a fan of these blocks here. Basically, you know, these 45-degree angle blocks, I always prefer to go the 2x1 blocks because I think they always seem to look better. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to make the sides of this setup here kind of taper in a bit. So maybe what we can do is we can go something like this. We can grab our 2x1 flat blocks. Actually, we want the angled ones. Where are my angled 2x1 blocks? Yeah, so I'm not sure if I want to make the tinted part go towards the outside or towards the inside. I guess what we can do is we can just make it go towards the outside, and we can just see how this looks. So what we'll do is we'll place our blocks here like this, except I think I'm going to have to go for one that's the opposite direction, or the inverted version of that. So let's see, we want our slope, oh no, I just got to turn it around like that and then place it there, and then we'll spin this around and then we'll place that one there. Then what I'll do is I'll grab my 2x1 faces, and this one I believe we want... Wait, is it this one here? Yep, we want this one there. And then I want to place this one here like that. And then we want our face inverted, which will be... Well, do we want our face inverted, or do we want the... Yeah, I've only got those two blocks. So I think I need my face inverted. Let's try and figure this out. These are always such a tricky block to get placed properly. I can I always sit here for ages just trying to figure out which way this thing goes. I think I need my 2x1 or my 1x2 face. Although I can't remember which way it needs to be. Ah, there we go. So it needs to be like that, and then we spin it around, and then it needs to be like that. And then I think what I'll do is I'll grab my 2x1 faces, which I believe is this one here, and then we will, maybe we can make this side tinted, so we can go like that, and then we can place it like that, because this is kind of the roof, so I don't really want the roof to be fully visible, if that makes sense. And then from there, what I can do is I can grab just a flat inverted, we'll place that there, and then we'll place another one there like that. And I guess we can place one at the back, although that needs to be 2 blocks wide. So maybe instead of that, what we can do is we can just grab the 1 blocks, and then we can place one there like that, and then another there like that. And I was thinking maybe instead of actually having, you know, the full-on blocks, or the having this entire canopy of just like windows, you know what I mean? Maybe what we can do is we can change this up for these armor plates. So I'm just trying to find the flat plate here. So alright, there we go, we've got a flat plate there, and then we can see if I have a plate that goes on the angle that I want. So that's a 2x1 base, so I want that one to probably be there, and then no, I don't want it to be there. I probably want it to be there, and then also no, that's the only place I really want it to be. And then this is the light armor panel slope, which is the one that I want to place here. So we'll place that there, then we'll place that one there, and then possibly place it there, thank you. And then what I need to do is I need to find my 2x1 tip. So 2x1 tip, where are you? Slope base, slope tip, here we go. And I want this one to be like that, and then this one to be like that there. And then we're going to fill the roof with all of the blocks that I want, which is going to be these plates. So just the light armor panels. Fill the roof with that. Yeah, it does work. The only problem is I'm not going to be able to hang a light off that. So, do I really want to do that? That is the question. Maybe what we could do is we could place full-on blocks here, because what I'm going to have here is I'm basically going to have my door. So we'll have an offset door like that. And maybe what we can do is we can grab these tips here. So we can grab these tips, and we can do that, and then that there. And then that'll kind of hide the door a bit, but I'm not sure if that's what I really want to do. Let's test this theory out. So maybe instead of those blocks, we can place something like this, and then how would I get this block up here like this? I don't think I can do that, can I? I think I would need to place this block here, and then from there I would need to go straight back. I don't think there's a block that will allow me to go up like that, is there? Apart from that block there, which is what I don't want. Because then I'm back to square one again. If I place another block up there for the roof, I'm kind of back to where I was before. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll just go with the standard steel plates. Or these plates here. And then maybe instead what we can do is we can just place our blocks, or our light blocks, on the bottom of the elevator itself. Or I guess even what I could do is I could place 2 lights on the top of the elevator, but then the bottom would be sticking through. That's alright. What I'll do first is I'll weld all of this up and I'll see if it actually looks any good, and then from there I guess we can make our decision on what we're going to do. So alright, I'll see you once this is welded up. Alright, well, I've finished welding everything up. I think I'm pretty happy with the overall design of this, although I think I have an idea on how I can get this thing to work. So what I've done here is I've placed my 2 interior lights, and we'll just go up above here, and you can see that I've placed them on the top here like this. So it all looks pretty good. What I could do is I could just make the light extend below, because obviously these interior lights actually go through blocks. So let me just kind of demonstrate this. So we'll set our interior lights, we'll make them 190, 215, not really too fussed about that too much, and then we'll go ahead and we'll set the radius to, like, you know, let's say 12 meters or something like that. So you can see that we have plenty of light in the actual elevator itself, even though the blocks aren't in this area. But you can kind of see that the bottom of those lights is actually poking through here. And I was like trying to rack my brain as to how I'm going to get that to not happen. So I think maybe to give this thing a little bit more dimension, we'll go ahead and we'll get rid of probably a little bit more blocks than what I wanted to. That's alright. Let's grind these away and try not to grind the floor of the elevator. Right, now what I'll do is I'll get rid of these 2 blocks here. Then we'll just grab our regular blocks like this. Like this. No, it's not going to let me place them there either. The only blocks I can place there are these ones. Alright, I thought what I could do is actually place the other blocks there. That's really, really not cool. There is literally no block that I could place there. I could only do that. But honestly, that just looks absolutely bizarre. So I don't know why I would even bother doing that. Maybe instead, what we could do though, is we could do something like this, and then grab our half blocks like that, and then grab these blocks here, place them there, and then we get rid of this block here, and then we go ahead and we just place in a light armor slope like that. Or we could go with one of these blocks but invert it the other way around, and maybe we could do something very similar to that here. And then I guess at least it actually kind of lines up with the door a little bit. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I don't think that looks too bad. And perhaps what I could do further is we could go something like this. We could grab, not these half blocks, but maybe these ones here. And then we could go like that. Or we could grab the new blocks that they added in the last update, like these ones. And we could do something similar to that. Yeah, so we could do something like that. and then do the same on the other side, which would be like that.
No energy.
Oh, no energy. Right, so we weld those two up. And then I think from here we're looking pretty good. So the only thing I don't really love is this transition here. But maybe what we could do is we could actually use these blocks here. And maybe that might look a tiny touch better. Yeah, you know what? I think that does look a tiny touch better. So perhaps I will go with that. So let's quickly fix that. Let's put these blocks in here. And let's do that. Right, okay, so then what I could do from there is I could grab a corner light and I could place it, well, I thought I could place it there, but I can't because of the fact that, yeah, maybe I'm just going to have to place a corner light here, here, and here, because I really would like to have the lights actually inside the elevator itself. So maybe that's something I can do. So let's weld these up. Alright, now they're welded up. Let's turn my lights off. Let's adjust the lighting on these. How's that look? Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not fantastic. I'm not loving it. But at the same time, I don't think it's too bad. Maybe, in fact, what we could do is we could set the offset to something a bit better. So hopefully I've welded these so that the offset goes upwards. Is that the case? Let's go 2.5 with the offset. No, the offset is going inwards. So I think what I'll do is I'll grind these away. And we'll change the orientation of these lights. So let's flip them. Wait. What am I doing? Is that the right way? Let's try this out. So let's set the offset for this corner light to something else. Let's go with offset of 5. And yeah, this time it looks like the offset is going up. Alright, cool. So I should be alright to place the rest of these down. Right, now they're welded. Let's go ahead and let's adjust these corner lights. It's not too bad. It's not fantastic, but it's not too bad. Maybe we can set the radius, or actually maybe I might adjust the offset a bit more. So let's find these again. Now let's adjust the offset to, let's say 2.5, and I'll adjust the radius to 9 meters. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It's not great, but it's not bad either. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to change is you can kind of see I've made these windows here tinted. Maybe what I'll do is I will tint these corner windows as well. So I'm not going to bore you with that process though, and I'll do that off camera, and then I'll be back once that is done. Alright guys, welcome back. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and I've switched these windows around so that the tinted side sits on the inside. Although, funnily enough, I can see a gap there. I'm pretty sure it's airtight though. I did test it, so I think it's, yeah, should be just fine. Also, what I did is I put this vertical window in the floor to cover the air vent. Also, I've placed a button panel, a few boxes around the place to kind of decorate it. And I've changed the roof up a little bit here on the left, because I wasn't really happy with the way that it was before. Also, I've changed this side because I'm not exactly sure which kind of design I want to go with. I do really like this design. The only thing I don't really like is this part here that you can see through the window, but you know, you can't really see it that well, so I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on this design or that design over there, or even the one that we had before. So, and also what I've done is I've spaced this door out by one more block. Or basically I've switched it around so that it faces the other way, and I've changed these from 2x1 sloped armor tips to the bases, so it looks like it's supporting this a bit better. So the other thing I'm not really sold on is there doesn't seem to be any kind of support to kind of support the roof. So maybe it's just me overthinking it, but yeah, that's another thing that I'm not entirely happy with. So, alright, and the last thing that I've done is I've gone ahead and I've tapered the floor to suit these windows. So if we jump out here, you can kind of see that I've tapered the floor. Lastly, the very last thing that I've done here is I've gone ahead and I've placed these lights on the roof. You might have noticed that I went ahead and I actually removed them from being in the elevator themselves. I just felt like they were too in your face when they were on the floor, so I didn't really like them very much, so I decided to move them to the roof. And it still provides light in the elevator, but you don't have that glare in your face when you're trying to get in here. I would really like to put them on the roof here, but because we've used half blocks, it's just, yeah, not an option. And then also what I've done below is I've placed in these corner lights, and they are basically, yeah, just the same orange, yellow that we have throughout the rest of the base, and it just kind of offsets the color a little bit. So also I've left a space here so that we can go ahead and we can place a sensor here. So when I place a sensor here, basically what I'm going to use that for is to open and close this door. So basically when we come up close to this door, then it will kind of open and close for us. So now what I need to do is go ahead and figure out all these pistons. So I think the first thing I need to do is find out exactly where the third floor is. So we know that the second floor is here. So we'll just count these blocks out. So we got 1, 2, we'll change the mode here, 3, 4, 14, 15, 16, and then 17. Okay, so let's count these out again, and then we can find out where our third floor is. So we've got 1, 2, 16, and then 17. So our final floor will basically be here. So what I need to do now is kind of figure out how far up the elevator needs to go. So I know that, so we are basically sitting at this floor at the moment, so we need to kind of discount this block. So all in all, we need to go up 16 blocks. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, but it kind of makes sense to me. So what I've gone ahead and done is renamed all of these pistons here. So because we need to go up 16 blocks, that equals the full extension of 4 pistons, which is 10 meters each. So 16 blocks, if you don't know, works out to be about 40 meters. So of course we need to fully extend 4 pistons to get us to the second floor. So what I'll do is I will actually go in here and we will just test this out. So let's find our pistons here, and let's go for elevator piston. I'm not sure which one this one is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's interesting. Which piston is that? I might just ignore this one. Elevator piston. Oh, this is the one on the Nomad. Let me just change the name of this so I don't get confused. Alright, now let's try this again. So we got our first 4 pistons. Let's reverse them. And then what should happen is we will end up on the second floor. Let's just wait patiently while that happens. Fantastic. Okay, so here we are on the second floor. Now what we need to do is just test out the third floor. So I'm pretty sure we just do the exact same thing. So we'll find our pistons once more. Let's go for 5, 6, 7, and 8. And let's reverse these. And then we should end up on the third floor. Alright, cool. So we are on the 3rd floor. Not sure what's going on here, but maybe I've messed up in my maths a little bit. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't. Let me just check something here. So, why is my character doing this weird stuff? This piston here, this is piston 10. And this one here is piston number 9. Now the reason why I've ignored these is because number 10 was basically the initial length that we needed to get us to the bottom of the 1st floor, which was this one here. So I've kind of ignored those, so I'm pretty sure that we are, yeah, fully extended with all these pistons, so we should be in the right location. So I think our floor for number, you know, the 3rd floor actually starts here. So I'm pretty confident in that fact, so we'll just kind of ignore that. Let's retract all of these pistons. Well, actually, no, I don't think I will. What I'm going to do here is, in order to make this elevator kind of function, the first thing I need to do is I need to build some timer blocks. Now, I believe that I have already gathered the materials for these timer blocks, but we will find out soon enough. So let's find our timer blocks. Here we go. No, these ones. And have I withdrawn the components for these? No, it seems that I haven't. Alright, let me do that and then come back and build 3 of them and we'll go from there. Okay, fantastic. So I have now gone ahead and built all of these 3 timer blocks. So now what we need to do is set these up to move the pistons to each floor. So what I'm going to do here is, before I go any further, we're going to find our timer blocks and we're going to name this timer block G for the ground floor, timer block 1 for the 1st floor, and timer block 2 for the 2nd floor. So actually maybe I'll just go 2nd and then we'll go 1st. Okay, cool. So what I want the 1st timer block to do, so let's find our timer G. So let's go to setup actions. Now the ground floor is going to be the lowest point out of all these floors. So what I want to do is find all of my pistons. So we want 1 through to 8 and we want to retract those. So let's go and do that. So let's set piston, actually piston 10. I will remove that. I mistakenly added that. It's annoying how it adds number 10 right next to number 1. So let's try this again. So number 2 retract, number 3 retract, number 4 retract, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we've got piston 1 through to 8 set to retract. So what we will do is we will exit out of this console. Let's activate the jetpack, go all the way up to the elevator itself, and what we want to do is we want to set this first button to actually activate that timer. So let's find our timer for the ground floor. Whereabouts are you? So timer block G, and then we will go trigger now. Okay, so what should happen when we press this button is we should be taken down to the ground floor. One thing I haven't really figured out at the moment is how I'm going to get the elevator to go one constant speed between the floors, because basically what's going to happen is when I go from floor number 1 to 2 and I activate only those 4 pistons, it's going to go a different speed than if I was to go from the ground floor all the way up to the 3rd floor. So that's something I really need to figure out a bit later on, but I guess, you know, we'll see what happens. I have an idea on how to get that to work, but I'm not exactly sure. So, alright, let's find our timer block for the 1st floor. And let's set up the actions for this. So I think what we need to do here is we need to go for the pistons, and we need to set elevator piston 1 through 4 to retract. So we'll skip number 10. Try not to make that mistake once more. So we will retract those, and then we want piston number 5 through 8 to extend. So we'll set that to extend, and then this one, and then finally this one. Okay, cool. So that timer block is now set up. So then what we'll do is we'll program this button to activate that timer block. So let's find our timer for this first floor, and then we'll set trigger now. Let's test this out and see if it works. No, press F. Okay, so this should now take us to the second floor, and you can see what I mean. The speed is a bit slower than it was when we came down because there's only 4 pistons actually pushing us. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to resolve that issue, but I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. And we should stop right here. Ah, fantastic. Alright, now what we need to do is we need to do the same thing for the final timer block, which will take us to the second floor. Or the third floor, whichever way you want to look at. So let's go to setup actions. Let's find all of our pistons. And what we want to do is we want to set all of these pistons here to extend. So we will extend the first piston through to the 8th piston. Let's go and do that quickly. Okay, so now we have all of our pistons 1 through to 8 all set to extend. So now what we'll do is we'll set this button up to activate the third timer block, or the timer block for the second floor or third floor, whichever way you want to look at it. So now when we press F on this, this should take us to the third floor, where I kind of messed up and I didn't really exactly know where that floor was. Alright, fantastic. So we are now at the third floor. I need to count out these blocks again and figure out what's going on here. I think yeah, let me just quickly do this. So we got 1. Yes. It seems like I have messed up. This is actually where I am supposed to put the third floor. Now, because I have an extra piston here, what I could do is I could actually raise the third floor up by... so what's this one set to? I can't really remember. So the minimum distance here is set to 3.4. So I could probably go another 5 meters with that piston, which is 2 blocks, and then I could go another, 10 meters with this piston, which is another 4 blocks. So I could technically go 6 blocks higher than what I am at the moment, which would put us at about, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 2 blocks above that. So I could technically go that high, but I'm not sure if I really want to do that. That is something I'm going to have to kind of figure out at a later stage. But now what I want to do is, now that I've figured out the piston and the buttons, I think what we should do is place a button here so that we can actually call the elevator to where we want it to be. So what we'll do is we'll place one of these very nice button panels that I have been so eager to use, but I have yet to find a method or a reason to use them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set this one to go timer block for G, and we'll toggle this one to trigger now. So now when we press this button, it should retract the entire elevator down to this floor. Now I still need to adjust the speed of this elevator a little bit because I'm not really loving the fact that it's so slow. But hey, you know what? It's kind of functional, and this is the very first elevator that I've ever built in this game. So far, I think it's working pretty good. Alright, so let's get the elevator to take us up to floor number 2. And then we can build our second button panel to call the elevator to us. Fantastic. Here we are at the second floor, and we will place our button panel in the exact same location, and we'll go and weld this up. And then, like we did before, we're going to set this to activate timer block number 1, which will take us to the first floor, or the second floor, like I said, whichever way you want to look at it. Alright, cool. So then when we press this button, I don't think anything will happen because it's already at the correct floor. So I think this is working pretty good. The only other thing I need to figure out is, obviously, this door here is going to be activated by a sensor that's going to sit under the floor of the elevator. So that's fine, no worries. But one thing I'm not exactly sure about is what I'm going to do with these doors, because I don't really want to be able to activate a door when the elevator isn't there, because then you can kind of fall into the elevator shaft. It's not really a big deal, because I mean, all you really need to do is just don't walk into the elevator shaft and then fall down the shaft. But it would be a nifty little feature, like a safety feature, that these doors would only ever open when it kind of detects the elevator. And I was thinking that maybe the way that I can do that is set a sensor to detect a large grid going out in a beam, so that this door will only ever open when the elevator is present. So I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit later, but I'm sure I will be able to figure out a way to do that. Alright, so now I'm going to go away and figure out exactly what design I'm going to do for these walls, so I'll see you after that. Okay guys, welcome back. So I was initially planning on figuring out a design for the walls of the elevator shaft itself, until I kind of realized that I really don't have enough steel plates to actually achieve that. So if I remember correctly, the amount of steel plates that it took me, well, the amount of blocks that the template was just to dig this tunnel out was about 1,000. I think it was like 900 or something like that. So because obviously the sides of the elevator shaft are bigger than the template itself, I think it's probably going to take me somewhere in the realm of 1,000 to about 1,100 you know, full blocks. And that's going to probably cost me, you know, 25 times that, which is, you know, 25,000 steel plates. And if we have a look in our inventory, we can see that I only have about, yeah, so I've only got 3,500 steel plates. And then if I have a look at the amount of iron ingots I've only got 62,500, which is nowhere near going to cover the amount of steel plates that I need to actually get that done. So what I'm going to have to do is obviously go on a mining trip and get what we need to get that done, but I don't think I want to do that right now. So what I can do though is I can, yeah, try and figure out something that I've been thinking about for a little while. So you guys might remember a little while ago, or it would have been just a moment ago for you guys, but a little while ago for me, what I want to do is I want this door to remain closed when there is no elevator here in front of it, because obviously it's kind of a safety feature. You don't want to kind of walk through and then fall down the elevator shaft, even though, you know, it's not really necessary, and you know, you just have to be not silly and do that. I still think it would be a cool feature to have. So I think I have figured out a way in which I can do this. So what we'll do is we will exit this elevator, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a whole bunch of blocks all the way along this wall here. Although, is this the right color? Ah, it's right. So what we'll do is we'll place a whole bunch of blocks all the way around. Now, I'll place the blocks and then I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll explain what I had thought about doing and wasn't really going to do. Okay, so we'll place these blocks here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a sensor and I'm going to place it here, except it won't let me. So I think what I'll need to do is lower the elevator a little bit. I can place it here, but there is a good reason why I don't want to do that. So I could place a sensor here, but I'm planning to do something with this wall, although I won't reveal what that is later, and I think this sensor will kind of get in the way of that. And the good thing is, if I place it here, then we're not going to be able to see the sensor through the elevator, unless, you know, we're kind of looking up through here and then we can see the sensor there. So I think this is the most hidden way to place it. So I guess what I'll do is I will tell the elevator to go to maybe, let's say, the ground floor. So we'll press F here, and then I will exit the elevator. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and we can place in our sensor. So we'll place our sensor there, and let's also go and rename this door. So what we'll do is we'll name this door second floor door. Cool. We'll save that, and then we'll go into this sensor here. What I want to do is show the sensor's field of range, and then I also want to go onto the sensor and say show on HUD so that it shows us the field of range of the sensor. We'll adjust the left and right extent to 1.25. We'll adjust the bottom extent to 0.1, and then we'll do the same for the top extent so that the beam is as thin as possible. Now, what I could do is I could set it up so that it detects the entire elevator, but the only problem is that this door is going to open when the roof of the elevator gets near there, so the elevator is not going to be fully seated in the position that it needs to be when that door would open. So I think what I'll do instead is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and place a block here. So let's so what we could do is we could place maybe one of these blocks here. So let's find, actually, where's my blocks? So I could place in maybe a block like this and just place it there, or we could even go for maybe like an interior light, like maybe one of these blocks here. So just a corner light, and that's going to be pretty much right where the floor is. So we'll go ahead, we'll place this light. I will go inside and I will turn this light off because we don't really need it to be on. So let's go ahead and let's turn that light off. So let's find this corner light 3, which it should be this one here. So we'll turn that block off. And now let's tell the elevator to go up to the second floor. So let's do that. Let's exit the elevator, and then let's go ahead and see what this sensor does. Now, the sensor is only really set to detect players at this point, but what we can do is we can go ahead and we can tell this sensor to actually detect, and I just noticed actually that block isn't really where I need it to be. Okay, so alright, maybe let's get rid of this block, and what we need to do is maybe place in a block, let's say yeah, I'm probably going to need to use one of these blocks here or something like that. Maybe what we can do is we can just use one of these steel plates here. So what we'll do is we'll find a half plate and we'll just go ahead and we'll place it there. But alright, I've got to lower the elevator, place the block, and then raise the elevator again. So I'll go away and I'll quickly do that. Okay, so the elevator is in position now. I've placed the block down. So now what we can do is we can go into this sensor and let's turn everything off. The audible proximity alert, the detect players, and what we want to set is detect subgrids. So we'll turn that on and we'll leave everything else the same. And you can see that it can now detect this subgrid. So what it will do is if we have a really close look at this, you can see that the sensor's field of range doesn't actually see the elevator itself. It sits just off the edge of the elevator. In fact, what we may do is just reduce the size of this just a little bit. Oh, sorry. I need to set this to 2.5. And now it's in the position that I want. So let's just actually move it back a little bit because I think the elevator itself is kind of sagging towards the back. So we'll go 2.45 and let's see how that looks. Yep, okay, cool. So I think that's pretty spot on. So now what I'll do is let's try and move the elevator down and see if it detects the rest of the elevator as it moves downwards. So let's find our timer block. So timer block G, and let's trigger that now. And then yeah, you can see that it can't detect the rest of it. So now what I want this sensor to do is I want this sensor to basically We'll go to setup actions, and I want it to open the second floor door. So what we'll do is we'll find our second floor door, we will set that to open and then set that to closed. Okay, now let's test this sensor out and see if it actually works the way we want it to. So let's first close this door, and then let's call the elevator and wait patiently for it to arrive. Fantastic. Alright, and there you go. So that is basically what happens. So now what I'll do is I'll go into the control panel of this door, and then we will activate the timer block for the ground floor again, and we'll just go to trigger now, and then the door should close immediately as the elevator leaves. So I guess another way I could kind of make this a little bit better is, I'm just trying to think if I could make this any better. No, I think that's about as good as it can get. What I really need is a bit that goes in the center here. So like maybe, I don't think there is a block that goes right in the center. So, you know, we could use maybe, yeah, everything kind of goes on the side. So I don't think there's anything I could really do. Maybe I could use these blocks here. Maybe that's actually a better option, to use this block so that the door opens more when it's in the center. So I may try that out, but I'm probably not going to do that in this episode. So, but yeah, I mean, mission accomplished. I think that is pretty well as good as I can get it without using these blocks here, like I said before. So we could use maybe these because they actually sit in the center, and I'll demonstrate that in the next episode. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Wasteland Survival, and I hope to see you in the next episode. If you like this episode, then definitely consider leaving us a like, and don't forget to subscribe so that you do not miss the next episode. Alright guys, I will see you next time.